Alright, folks, let's jump into my review of the new film Don't Say Its Name. Super interesting film. Can't wait to break it down. So let's start that review now, folks. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Don't Say Its Name, which made its world premiere at Fantasia Film Festival 2021. Now, this is one of the films I definitely had my eyes set on. The premise looked super interesting, but I think the big thing that jumped out to me was that it was going to have a strong female-led cast, and that it did. 3 strong. And even that, one of them was actually turned the villain entity thing, maybe? I don't know. Even still, because of what she stood for, was also very intriguing. And this film, as is being considered a snowbound thriller, first of all, I love any film, especially horror, that's in the scenery of being anywhere with snow. I don't know, it's just something about it just gives me that extra bit of mystique. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the color grading too, because snow is so white, so most of the time when there's blood involved or there's something dark, the contrast always makes things look super interesting. But yeah, every time something's in the snowbound type of film, I'm always like, okay, I love it. And I guess also a lot of snow locations also are very aesthetically pleasing, so that was another thing to add. But the premise of this film was interesting too, because it's about the people standing up for their land, and you have this company who's trying to come through with a pipeline, and you have an activist who's just not for it, standing up for it, and anybody who is for it, she is against it. So simple things like that without even going into detail that I just appreciate about it. But like, I really want to get into my personal feelings and reactions to this film outside of the premise. Now, the first thing is, the first kill in this movie is completely is mind-blowing. I was speechless. I was like, whoa. I guess the tone of the film did not think it was going to go that overkill with the gore. It was done really good, so maybe overkill isn't the word, but I had no clue that the gore was going to be the way it is, because the first person that get killed gets messed up. And I think another thing, I'll be 100% honest, I felt like the production of this gave me like TV film level, like it could be on TV, on a television or premium channel station. So like it, and even with like the score, and even just like the performances, it felt like it was made for television. And typically that tone, which is fine, but typically that tone don't warrant this type of gore. So that's the other thing that kind of like really caught me off guard. There's a kill in the very beginning that happens, and typically kills like that when they kind of like foreshadow that something had happened, and then obviously the result, and then there's a person in the body bag. They usually just show the body bag covered. The fact that they actually show a person get ran over by a car and what does it look like, that's the thing. So I thought they did a really good job in the makeup and costume department, FX design with all of the gore and all that. That's really the brightest part of this, like without a question. And also, when you start to figure out, well, what is this entity or whatever that is killing people? Because whatever it is invisible. And it certainly gave me Predator vibes because of the aerial view that they was giving you when you could tell something was happening. So basically what happened is that when somebody was getting ready to be targeted, they would get this weird smell, and then we would see, as the viewers, we would kind of get this bird eyes aerial view, which I don't think the effects of that was too good. But nonetheless, it was totally Predator. And then it was a Predator. But it was an invisible killer that was completely thrashing people. So it was Predator until it wasn't Predator. Because once we did see the person kind of get human shape, it kind of was like a bird that turned into a vampire. So long story short, until you actually see what it is a lot of different guesses as to what it is. So that's also the thriller part of this, is guessing what's happening, what's the logic behind the attacks, and what does it look like? And then once you actually did get to see the killer in human form, I was a little bit confused because at any other time they were invisible or kind of a spirit type of entity, but then they actually took human form. Also was like another added wild card to everything. But once you saw it, I thought that, again, with the special effects and makeup design, I thought they did a really good job in that too. I thought that looked really good. But the logic behind the killer who I'm not going to spoil, I'm gonna kind of let you figure it out. But the killer is motivated to keep the integrity of the land. The killer is not for the pipe coming through it. And if you show any indication that you may be cool with this, the killer's coming after you. Once you start smelling weird noises, you better run because you can't see it coming, which means that you're going to get got, and that's just what it's going to be. So you might want to choose your size rightly, folks. So, but other than that, I will say that when we're talking about the ending here, let's go to the ending. So the entity came about because you want to kind of know it was a ritual, and when the body of the person, the activist and Karis, once she was killed and then taken, it was supposedly taken, somebody took her heart, and we all know how this goes. You never mess with anybody's heart. You never do any rituals or sayings because you start calling on things. You don't know what you're calling. Then something comes about and it starts to wreak havoc. And that's what happened here. But the heart is the connection here to the entity doing what it does. But the heart was placed in the fire. And you would think that would have ended it. And it didn't. And then another victim is killed. A victim of a person who I felt should have probably been killed way earlier in the movie anyway, just because of his actions. So I guess they're kind of setting up to see where this can go beyond this. And again, this is why I felt like this could have been a really good television film, because with a low budget, I think you're able to, either one, do a series with this, because a series could have worked. But if you're going to do, another sequel to this, it could be interesting. A prequel could even be interesting to this as well too. So long story short, this film is brutal, and I think it has a lot of potential to go in any direction it wants to go. I felt like this was a really good foundation for what it did in far as introducing characters, strong women, understanding the way of the town, and just the lot. I guess to be able to kind of tell the dynamic between all of the town folks, and they introduced characters but didn't give them a lot, so that clearly means that as a viewer you want to kind of know more about that person, and then like I said, it doesn't seem like the entity's done, so there's more to be done here. But that is my review and reaction with a little bit of ending talk here of the film Don't Say Its Name. Check it out, folks. It made its debut at Fantasia Film Festival 2021. Jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts about it. And as always, stay tuned because we got more reviews coming very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.